Welcome friends, back to our channel, History Coins HD. These USA Kennedy half-dollar coins make people rich. Let's find out why. Don't miss out one of these. Who know a single coin make you rich? Let's start this. Coin 1. Today we are talking about a coin that most people have seen, many have spent, and almost nobody has truly looked at closely. A Kennedy half-dollar from 1973. Sounds ordinary, right? Here's the shocker. One small detail on this coin can quietly turn it from pocket change into something collectors actively hunt for. And some people still have it sitting in drawers without realizing what they own. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes I'm going to show you what makes the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar special, why certain versions are far more desirable than others, the mistakes that can multiply its value, and at the very end I'll tell you what this coin is really worth today in the collector market and at auctions. Right now, imagine holding the coin in your hand. Cut to a clean close-up of the front. You see President John F. Kennedy's profile facing left, sharp and serious, frozen in time just a decade after his assassination. This design wasn't chosen randomly. When Kennedy was killed in 1963, the United States moved fast to honor him. Within months, the Kennedy half-dollar replaced the Franklin half-dollar, and Americans immediately started saving them as keepsakes instead of spending them. Now flip the coin over. Bring in a slow pan across the back. The presidential seal fills the space, the eagle spread wide, shield on its chest, surrounded by stars. It's bold, it's patriotic, and it's instantly recognizable. But here's where the 1973 version gets interesting. By 1973, the half-dollar no longer contains silver. That change alone made many people stop paying attention to them. And that's exactly why collectors pay attention now. These coins were made mostly for circulation, used in everyday life, and heavily handled. High-quality examples didn't survive in large numbers. Most were scratched, dinged, or spent into oblivion. There were two main mints striking this coin. Philadelphia coins have no mint mark. Denver coins carry a small D. Pause here and zoom in under the date. That tiny letter matters more than most people think. Now here's the first cliffhanger. Not all 1973 Kennedy half-dollars were meant for the public. The United States Mint also struck special proof versions, made with polished dies and mirror-like surfaces. These were sold directly to collectors, not spent at grocery stores. When you tilt a real proof under the light, the fields shine like glass and the details look razor-sharp. That's one of the biggest value differences right there. But the real excitement comes from errors. Cut to extreme close-ups. Some 1973 half-dollars show double details, especially in the lettering or Kennedy's profile. Others have off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or weak strikes that leave parts of the design looking faded or incomplete. These mistakes weren't supposed to leave the mint, yet some did. And collectors love them. Here's a fun detail most people miss. The year 1973 sits right in the middle of a transitional period for U.S. coinage. Inflation was rising, people were hoarding older silver coins, and half-dollars were slowly disappearing from daily use. That makes surviving high-grade examples feel like time capsules from a changing America. If you've ever wondered why some coins feel common and others feel special, this is a perfect example. It's not just age. It's survival, condition, and tiny details that separate an average coin from a collectible one. So before you dismiss this coin, ask yourself this. Have you ever really checked the half-dollars you've come across? Look at the mint mark. Look at the strike. Tilted under light. Those few seconds could tell you everything. Now let's talk real numbers, no hype, just facts. In today's market, a regular circulated 1973 Kennedy half-dollar usually sells for face value to a small premium, roughly around $1 to $2 depending on condition. A clean uncirculated example can sell for $10 to $30. Proof versions typically sell between $5 and $20. But error coins and top-grade examples have reached auction prices ranging from several $100s to over $1,000. Depending on the rarity and condition. So let me ask you. Do you own a Kennedy half-dollar from 1973? Have you ever found an error coin in your change? And which US coin would you love to add to your collection one day? If you enjoyed this story and want more real coin history, hidden details, and honest values, hit like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, and check out the other videos waiting for you. You never know which everyday coin might be your next surprise. Coin 2. We are talking about a coin that almost everyone thinks exists, but almost nobody can actually find. A Lincoln 1918 half dollar. Sounds powerful. Sounds rare. Sounds expensive. And here's the twist that stops collectors in their tracks. The United States never officially made a Lincoln half dollar in 1918. Yet people search for it, ask about it, and swear they've seen one. So what's really going on here? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes I'm going to break down the truth behind the so-called Lincoln 1918 half dollar, why this coin creates so much confusion, what coin people are actually talking about, the rare errors collectors hunt for, and at the end I'll tell you the real market and auction values you need to know. Let's start by slowing things down and looking at history. Bring up a timeline graphic from the early 1900s. In 1918, the United States half dollar was not Lincoln at all. It was the walking Liberty half dollar, one of the most beautiful designs ever made. Lincoln never appeared on a half dollar, not then, not later, not ever. Lincoln belongs to the 1-cent coin. Now here's where it gets interesting. Cut to a close-up of a 1918 Lincoln cent. This is the coin most people actually mean. It's small, copper, and easy to overlook, but it carries serious history. The front shows Abraham Lincoln, calm and steady, designed by Victor David Brenner. The back shows the classic wheat ears, which is why collectors call it a wheat penny. 1918 was a huge year. World War I was ending. America was changing fast. These pennies were struck in massive numbers and spent hard. Most were worn down, damaged, or lost over time. High-quality survivors are not common. Now zoom in on the date and look for a tiny letter. No mint mark means Philadelphia. A small d means Denver. A small s means San Francisco. This is where the value gap starts. Opening. Here's your first cliffhanger. The 1918 Lincoln cent from San Francisco had a much lower mintage than Philadelphia. Fewer coins made it out, and far fewer survived in strong condition. Collectors know this, and prices reflect it. Now let's talk errors, because this is where collectors really lean forward. Bring in extreme close-ups of lettering and Lincoln's profile. Some 1918 cents show doubled dies, where letters look slightly shadowed or thick. Others have off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or weak details caused by worn dies. These mistakes happen during rushed wartime production, and each one tells a story. Another detail most people miss is color. Original red copper surfaces are incredibly rare on coins this old. Most turned brown decades ago. A bright red 1918 Lincoln cent in top condition is like finding a time machine in your hand. So every time someone says Lincoln 1918 half dollar, what they're really circling around is this penny. A small coin with a big misunderstanding and a real collector market behind it. Now let's get to the real numbers, no hype, just reality. A heavily worn 1918 Lincoln cent usually sells for a few dollars. A nice circulated example can bring $10 to $30 depending on mint mark. An uncirculated coin can reach several $100s. High-grade examples from San Francisco, especially with strong color, have sold at auction for thousands of dollars. Rare error versions can go even higher when collectors compete. So let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of the Lincoln 1918 half dollar before today? Do you own a 1918 wheat penny? And which misunderstood coin do you want to learn about next? If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more real coin stories, real history, and real values, hit like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, and watch the next video waiting for you. Because sometimes the rarest part of a coin isn't the metal. It's the truth behind it. Coin 3. We are talking about a coin that millions of people have held, spent, or ignored, and that's exactly why it still surprises collectors today. The Kennedy 1972 half dollar. Most people think it's just another old coin. Here's the shock. Certain versions of this exact coin have quietly sold for prices that make people stop and stare. And the craziest part is, many of them were never supposed to be special at all. Stick around, because in the next few minutes I'm going to show you what makes the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar different, the tiny details most people miss, the rare errors that collectors fight over, and at the end I'll tell you the real market and auction values this coin can reach today. Let's take a good look at it. Bring in a clean close-up of the front. You see President John F. Kennedy facing left, his hair sharply defined, his expression calm but strong. This design was introduced just months after his assassination, and Americans immediately connected with it. People saved these coins, passed them down, and treated them like small pieces of history. Now flip the coin over. Slow pan across the back. The presidential seal fills the coin, with the eagle's wings spread wide and a ring of stars around it. It feels powerful. But here's something many don't realize. By 1972, the Kennedy half-dollar no longer contained silver. That single change caused people to stop saving them, and most went straight into circulation. That decision plays a huge role in value today. The 1972 half-dollar was struck at 3 mints. Philadelphia coins have no mint mark. Denver coins show a small D. San Francisco coins are special, and this is where collectors lean in. The San Francisco mint struck proof versions only. These were never meant for pockets or cash registers. They were made with polished dies, mirror-like fields, and sharp details. Tilt one under the light, and it looks completely different from a regular strike. Here's the first cliffhanger. Not all proofs are created equal. Some 1972 proofs show what collectors call cameo contrast, where the frosted design pops against a dark, mirror-like background. Deep cameo examples are much harder to find and much more valuable. Now let's talk about errors, because this is where the story gets exciting. Zoom in tight on the letters and Kennedy's profile. Some 1972 half-dollars show doubled dies, especially in the lettering. Others have off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or missing details caused by worn dies. These mistakes slip through quality control, and today they are some of the most searched for versions of this coin. Here's a detail that often gets overlooked. The early 1970s were a time of big change in American coinage. Inflation was rising, silver coins were disappearing, and people were paying less attention to half-dollars. That means high-grade examples of 1972 coins are scarcer than most people expect. Condition is everything. A worn coin tells a story, but a sharp, clean example tells a different one. Bring up side-by-side visuals of a circulated coin and a crisp, uncirculated one. The difference jumps out immediately. So before you dismiss this coin as ordinary, take another look. Check the mint mark. Check the surfaces. Tilted under light. Small details make big differences here. Now let's talk real value, no hype, just facts. A circulated 1972 Kennedy half-dollar typically sells for around $1 to $2. Uncirculated examples can bring $10 to $40 depending on condition. Proof versions from San Francisco usually sell between $5 and $30. High-grade deep cameo proofs and rare error coins have sold at auction for several $100s, and in exceptional cases, over $1,000. So let me ask you. Do you own a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar? Have you ever checked one for errors or proof details? And which Kennedy half-dollar year would you love to add to your collection? If this video helped you see this coin in a new way, hit like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, and watch the next video waiting for you. Because sometimes the most interesting coins are the ones hiding in plain sight. Coin 4. We are talking about a coin that might be hiding in your pocket change right now and you wouldn't even know it. The 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar. Most people see it as just another coin in circulation, but some versions of this coin have quietly become collector favorites, and the value can surprise anyone who thinks it's ordinary. Stick around, because in the next few minutes I'm going to show you why this coin stands out, the rare mistakes and misprints that collectors search for. And at the end I'll tell you the real market and auction values so you know what it's actually worth today. Take a look at the front of the coin. Kennedy's profile is sharp, clear, and instantly recognizable. His calm, determined gaze has been on every half-dollar since 1964, and this version carries that same iconic look. The P Mint mark below the date tells us it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and that tiny letter is a key detail collectors notice. Flip it over and you see the presidential seal, the eagle with wings spread, clutching arrows and an olive branch. It's a design that conveys strength and history, and it hasn't changed in decades. But here's where things get interesting. By 1998, half dollars were no longer commonly used in circulation. Most people didn't carry them, and many were tucked away in rolls or collections. That means high-quality examples today are rarer than you might think. Some 1998 P. Kennedy half dollars show tiny errors that make them even more collectible. Cut to close-ups. Look for doubled dies in the lettering, slight off-center strikes, or weak details around the eagle's wings and shield. These mistakes are subtle, but for a collector, they make a coin far more valuable than a standard circulation piece. Here's a fun fact. 1998 was a year when the U.S. Mint was producing Kennedy halves primarily for collectors, not everyday use. That's why many of these coins were found in rolls, proof sets, or special collector packs. Coins that escaped into circulation were often handled carelessly, making uncirculated coins or those with original mint luster particularly desirable. Another small detail people often miss is the surface color. A bright, original luster, untouched by circulation, immediately stands out against a dull, worn coin. That difference alone can double or triple a coin's value in the collector market. Now let's talk numbers, no exaggeration. A standard circulated 1998 P. Kennedy half dollar usually trades at face value or just slightly above. An uncirculated circulation strike can sell for $10 to $20 depending on condition. Coins with noticeable errors, perfect surfaces, or those from original collector rolls can reach $50 or more at auction, and exceptionally rare error examples have even gone higher. So let me ask you, do you own a 1998 P. Kennedy half dollar? Have you ever checked one for errors or unusual details? And which Kennedy half dollar year would you love to add to your collection? If this video helped you see this coin in a new way, hit like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, and watch the next video waiting for you. Sometimes the coins we overlook are hiding real surprises, and the 1998 P. Kennedy half dollar is a perfect example of that. Coin 5. We are looking at a coin that might be hiding in plain sight, but could quietly be worth more than you think. The 2000 P. Kennedy half dollar. At first glance, it looks like every other Kennedy half dollar you've seen, but there are tiny details that make certain versions highly sought after by collectors. Some of these coins have even appeared in auctions with prices that make people do a double take. Stick around, because in the next few minutes I'm going to show you exactly what makes the 2000 P. Kennedy half dollar special, the rare errors and unique features that can boost its value, and at the end I'll tell you the real market and auction numbers so you know what it's actually worth today. Take a close look at the front of the coin. Kennedy's profile is crisp, sharp, and instantly recognizable. His calm, confident gaze has been on every half dollar since 1964, and the detail on this coin shows the artistry of the original design. Below the date, the small p tells us it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That little letter might seem insignificant, but for collectors it makes a big difference. Now flip the coin over. Bring in a slow pan across the presidential seal. The eagle stretches its wings wide, clutching arrows and an olive branch. Stars circle the shield, giving the coin a bold, patriotic look. By the year 2000, Kennedy halves were mostly produced for collectors rather than general circulation. That's why many of these coins today are in excellent condition, especially those that were kept in rolls or proof sets. Here's the first cliffhanger. Some 2000 P. Kennedy half dollars show small errors that can make them far more valuable than their standard counterparts. Look closely at the lettering and details on the eagle. Some coins have doubled dies, slight off-center strikes, or weak details caused by worn dies. These imperfections were not intended, but they create collector interest. Another fun detail is the surface. Coins with full mint luster, bright and untouched by circulation, immediately stand out from worn examples. A high-grade coin from 2000 can look almost new, even over 20 years later. That alone can make it more desirable than most people realize. Now let's talk context. The year 2000 was a turning point in US coinage. Half dollars were no longer commonly used in everyday transactions, so most of the coins produced were targeted at collectors. That means coins that were actually spent in circulation are rare, and uncirculated examples are particularly valuable. For visuals, imagine side-by-side shots of a circulated coin versus an uncirculated one, and close-ups highlighting any small errors or doubled details. Showing these differences makes the coin's value story clear and easy to follow. Let's get to real numbers. A standard circulated 2000 Kennedy half dollar usually sells for face value, around 50 cents to $1. Uncirculated examples can bring $10 to $20, depending on condition. Coins with noticeable errors, full mint luster, or from original collector rolls can sell for $50 or more. Exceptional error coins have reached several $100s at auction when the right collector is looking. So let me ask you, do you own a 2000 Kennedy half dollar? Have you ever checked one for errors or unusual details? And which Kennedy half dollar year would you love to add to your collection? If this video helped you see this coin in a new way, hit like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, and check out the other videos waiting for you. The 2000 Kennedy half dollar is a perfect example of how even a coin that seems ordinary can hide real surprises.